Sri Lanka is, in the words of its own president, bankrupt. The Indian Ocean nation defaulted on its sovereign debt in May 2022, plunging the country into economic and political chaos. The Colombo government secured a $2.9 billion, a £2.4 billion, International Monetary Fund bailout in principle the following September. But the cash will not be released to Sri Lanka until its sovereign creditors in China and India first agree to a restructuring of the billions of dollars of bilateral debt they are owed. Despite optimism over the past month that such an agreement was imminent, a deal has still not materialized, and Sri Lanka's economic agony, and the suffering of its population, continues. Yet, even if the bailout cash does start to flow in the coming weeks or months, that will not mark the end of Sri Lanka's economic rebuilding program, but merely the beginning. For it's widely accepted that Sri Lanka's economic model needs a fundamental overhaul. In the years following the savage end of the government's 25-year war against the separatist Tamil Tigers in 2009, Sri Lanka benefited from something of a financial, peace dividend. The government at the time successfully attracted large flows of foreign investment, not only from foreign governments like China, but also private international bondholders. These financial flows pumped up domestic economic growth, but at the cost of ballooning imbalances. The domestic economy grew steadily less internationally competitive in these years. And while exports continued to rise from 2000 to 2018, from $6.5 billion to $19.4 billion, over the same time period they slumped as a share of the economy, from 39% to 23%. Even before the pandemic hit in 2020, tearing the heart out of the island's lucrative tourism industry, the Sri Lankan trade deficit, the gap between its imports and exports, was already running at more than 6% of GDP. That imbalance is one of the reasons the default hit Sri Lanka so hard. It suddenly found itself without the means to generate the foreign currency needed to import vital supplies of food and fuel. Ranil Wickremesinghe, who took over the presidency after the discredited and reviled Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country in July 2022, has been clear that Sri Lanka's road to recovery will have to involve addressing the imbalance at source, and, in particular, driving up exports. "We have to transform into a highly competitive export-oriented economy," he told local business leaders last year.